They call me a monster, but when the king commands it, I am the only mercy you have left. The 6th of July, 1535.
The morning air was thick, like breathing soup. The scaffold on Tower Hill usually smells of fear, sweat and urine. Today it just smelled of old wood. The stairs were rotten. I saw him stumble on the first step. Sir Thomas More, the King's good servant. I reached out, instinct I suppose, to catch him. He gripped my arm. His hand was warm. He looked me in the eye and said, "I pray you, Master Lieutenant, see me safe up, and for my coming down, let me shift for myself." He treated the scaffold like a stage, and me like a stagehand. I felt small. I stood there in my mask, holding the axe that would end his world, and he was the one comforting me.
He joked. On the scaffold, who finds laughter? At the edge of the grave.
The crowd was silent. Usually they scream for blood or mercy. Today they just watched. It felt like a church. He knelt down. No struggle, no begging. He placed his head on the block as if it were a pillow he had slept on 1,000 times. Then he stopped me. He moved his hand up. I thought he was going to push the axe away, but he just moved his beard, carefully, deliberately. He draped it over the edge of the wood, away from the strike zone. He whispered that his beard had committed no treason. It was such a small thing, a human thing. My knuckles turned white on the handle. I wasn't killing a traitor. I was killing a grandfather. He gave me a coin, a gold angel. A service, he called it. He paid me to send him to God. I struck true, one blow. The sound was wet, final. But as I lifted the head to show the crowd, the silence broke, not with cheers, with a gasp. 1,000 people holding their breath and letting it out at once. I wiped the blade, but the metal feels different now, heavier. They say I did my duty, but tonight, in the dark, the gold coin in my pocket feels hot against my leg, like a coal from hell. I killed a better man today than I will ever be.
The 19th of May, 1536. I didn't kill the Queen. The King sent a Frenchman. No axe, only a sword.
I was there, but only to watch. The King didn't trust an English axe for her neck. He wanted finesse. He hired the Master of Calais. I watched him prepare. He didn't drink like we do. He didn't pray. He just checked the wind. His sword was thin, double-edged, hiding under the straw. He wore no mask. He wanted her to see his face. It insulted me at first, to see a man turn our grim trade into a dance. But as I watched him pace, measuring the distance to her neck without her knowing, I realized this wasn't an execution. It was a magic trick. She looked small. She wore a robe of grey damask over a red skirt, the red of a martyr. She made a speech, but her voice shook. She kept looking back, looking for a messenger from the King, looking for a reprieve that wasn't coming. She knelt in the straw. No block, just air. She started to pray. To Jesus Christ I commend my soul. Her neck was long, white, vulnerable. I saw her muscles tense, waiting for the blow, waiting for the pain. The Frenchman stood behind her, silent, He didn't raise the sword. He waited. He waited until she was lost in the prayer. Then the genius of it. He shouted to his boy, "Bring me the sword," loudly, pointing to the steps. She turned her head. She looked toward the voice, expecting the weapon to be coming from there, and in that split second, while her mind was distracted, swish! He had the sword in his hand the whole time. He struck from the other side. She never saw it coming. She never felt the bite. One moment she was looking for a sword. The next she was with God. The cannons on the wharf fired. Boom, boom. It was perfect theatre. Cruel, but perfect.
The 28th of July, 1540. They hired a boy today, a drunk, 3 swings, just to do my job.
The king marries a new girl today, so the old architect had to die. Cromwell, the man who built the scaffold for everyone else, finally had to climb it. I should have done it. I would have given him a clean end. But they gave the job to a ragged boy, a butcher who stank of gin. He could barely lift the axe. Cromwell didn't fight. He confessed his sins, said he was seduced by the devil. He put his head down like a man ready to sleep. He trusted the craft. He trusted us. The boy swung. He missed the neck. The sound, it wasn't the wet thud of severance. It was a crack. Bone and shoulder blade. Oh, Cromwell groaned. A sound I will never forget, a deep animal noise. The crowd gasped. The boy panicked. He hacked again. The axe got stuck in the wood. He had to wrench it free while the man was still moving. It wasn't an execution. It was a massacre. I saw the blood spray over the boy's boots. He was crying. The headsman was crying. 3 blows. It took 3 blows to kill the most powerful man in England. Finally, he stopped moving. The boy held up the head, but it was mangled. The dignity of death was gone. The king calls this justice. I call it a sin against the craft. We are meant to be the final mercy, the sharp end of the law. Today we were just murderers with a blunt tool. I washed the blood from the block myself. It wouldn't come out. The wood has drunk too much.
The 27th of May, 1541. She refused. She looked the headsman in the eye and said, "So should traitors do, and I am none."
I am done. I can do this no more. It was supposed to be quiet, a private affair on the green. She was 67 years old, the Countess of Salisbury, grey hair like my mother. She stood there, frail but hard as iron. The boy, the same wretched boy, told her to lay her head down. She refused. She stood tall. She said she was no traitor. She turned her back on him. She defied the king, the axe, and God himself. The boy didn't know what to do. The order was given. "Strike!" someone yelled. He swung at a standing woman. He hit her shoulder. She screamed. She didn't fall. She ran. God help us, she ran. Around the scaffold, bleeding, screaming, "Traitor! Traitor!" while he chased her. An old woman running from a boy with an axe. He was hacking at her wildly, missed swings, glancing blows, the sound of steel hitting the stone paving. It was madness. The guards just watched. We all just watched. 11 blows. It took 11 blows to chop her down. By the end, she wasn't a countess. She was just meat. The tower is not a prison anymore. It is a slaughterhouse, and I am just the man who cleans the floor. I wash my hands, but the stain is under the skin now. Tomorrow there will be another. History will remember the king, it will remember the queens, but it will forget the man who held the axe, and for that I am grateful.
The stones forget the blood by morning. I just wish to God that I could too.